Back in the early days of photography, snapping just one picture could take 8 hours. Now, a split second is all it takes to freeze a moment in time. What used to be a science experiment is now everyday art. Roman concrete is over 2,000 years old and still beating modern stuff. While today's concrete crumbles in decades, the Pantheon's still standing tall. The secret? A rare ingredient called lime glass that reacts with water to reseal cracks. Yep, ancient concrete could basically fix itself. That self-healing power is exactly why the Pantheon has stood the test of time. And not just stood. Rome's Pantheon holds the record for the world's largest unreinforced concrete dome, a title it's kept for nearly 1,900 years. Even today, it leaves architects scratching their heads in awe. Ever wonder why there are 60 seconds in a minute or 360 degrees in a circle? Blame the Babylonians. These ancient math wizards used a base 60 system over 4,000 years ago, and their obsession with 60 still shapes our world today. In Bulgaria, nodding means no, and shaking your head means yes. Yeah, it totally messes with your brain if you're not from around there. Cleaning the Burj Khalifa's windows is no joke. It happens 4 times a year, but each round takes about 3 months. Yeah, it basically never stops. A team of pros handles over 24,000 windows across nearly 1.3 million square feet. Talk about a never-ending job with a view. Australia isn't just famous for kangaroos and beaches, it's also the fastest-moving continent on Earth. Thanks to tectonic plate shifts, it's drifting north at about 7 centimeters a year. In other words, Australia is slowly but surely sneaking its way toward Asia. Purple honey isn't just a myth, it's real, and it mostly shows up in the sandhills of North Carolina. Scientists think its unusual color comes from something in the nectar, the minerals in the soil, or maybe even enzymes in the bees themselves. It's rare, mysterious, and still not fully understood. Ants don't sleep the way we do. Instead, they take tiny power naps, just about a minute long, hundreds of times a day. It's a genius system that keeps the colony running 24/7, like a perfectly oiled machine with no off switch. The Y chromosome is slowly falling apart. If it keeps breaking down at this pace, it could vanish completely in about 4.6 million years. That's right, the very thing that makes males biologically male is on a ticking clock. In some exam halls in Saudi Arabia, students aren't just handed test papers. They're also served chocolate ice cream sandwiches and hot tea. It's a tradition meant to ease nerves and make the testing experience a little sweeter, literally. In 2023, over 5,000 Indian millionaires packed their bags and left the country, most of them heading to the UAE. And the trend isn't slowing down. In 2024, another 4,300 are expected to follow. Why the UAE? It offers low taxes, investor-friendly policies, and a lifestyle that appeals to the ultra-wealthy. India's richest aren't just chasing luxury, they're chasing opportunity. After the Chernobyl disaster, scientists turned to an unexpected hero, sunflowers. Through a process called phytoremediation, these bright yellow blooms suck up radioactive elements like uranium and cesium from the soil and store them in their stems and leaves. Turns out, nature has its own way of cleaning up our mess. Palitana, in Gujarat, India, is the world's first fully vegetarian city, banning meat, fish, and eggs. In 2014, after peaceful protests by Jain monks, the government agreed to outlaw the sale and consumption of animal products. For the people of Palitana, this wasn't just about food, it was a moral stance. In a world driven by consumption, this city chose compassion. And while that may seem extreme to some, for the Jains, it's simply a way of living in harmony with all beings. At Japan's Nakazumo Festival, sumo wrestlers face off, not in the ring, but in a battle to make babies cry. Sounds strange? Not in Japan. Here, a baby's cry is seen as a blessing, believed to chase away evil spirits and bring strength and health. So while it may look like chaos, it's actually a centuries-old tradition of love, luck, and a little loud noise. Iceland is the safest country in the world, with a crime rate of less than 1.8 incidents per 100,000 people, thanks to its small population, strong social trust, and a police force that doesn't even carry guns. Welcome to the hottest place on Earth, literally. Iran's Lut Desert once hit a surface temperature of 177.4 degrees Fahrenheit. That record-breaking heat was captured by NASA's MODIS satellite in 2005. Meet the pomato, a clever mashup of two plants in one. Above ground, it grows juicy tomatoes. Below, fresh potatoes. It's not science fiction, it's smart gardening. By grafting a tomato stem onto a potato rootstock, gardeners can now harvest two crops from a single plant. It's a game changer for small spaces and urban gardens. Plants might not talk, but they sure know how to send a message. Scientists caught one plant, like a tomato, releasing airborne chemicals to warn its neighbor about danger, basically shouting, "Hey, something's eating me." Nature's got its own secret language. Rising 1,178 feet above the river, the Chenab Bridge is the tallest railway bridge in the world, standing 115 feet taller than the Eiffel Tower. Recently, a train clocked 68 miles per hour across it. More than just steel and concrete, this bridge is a symbol of India's engineering ambition and its drive to connect even the hardest-to-reach places. When it opened in 1864, the Clifton Suspension Bridge was built for horse-drawn carriages, not rush-hour traffic. Yet today, it carries over 11,000 vehicles a day. That's not just good engineering. That's 19th century genius still holding strong in the 21st century. Zavakan Island Bridge might look like just a cute little footbridge, but it's actually the shortest international bridge in the world. Just 32 feet long, it links one tiny island in Canada to another in the US, right in the middle of the St. Lawrence River. One small step for man, one giant leap across a border. In Japan, you can actually hire professional guests to attend your wedding. It's a unique industry born from hectic work schedules and social expectations. These stand-in guests are paid to dress up, blend in, enjoy the meal, and even offer a gift envelope, just like real friends would. It's all about saving face and making the event look lively, even when the guest list falls short. Nototheniod fish, better known as Antarctic ice fish, have a wild survival trick up their scales. They produce natural antifreeze proteins that keep their blood from turning into slush in sub-zero waters. This built-in defense helped them survive a global freeze that wiped out countless species some 42 million years ago. But today, they're facing a new threat: climate change. The good news? Scientists recently discovered a massive breeding colony under the Weddell Sea, stretching over 90 square miles and housing around 60 million active nests. It's the largest fish nursery ever found. Scientists at UCL just made the world's thinnest spaghetti, only 372 nanometers wide. It's called nanopasta, and it's not for eating. Thanks to its tiny size and biocompatibility, it could help heal wounds, rebuild bones, and deliver medicine inside the body. In 2022, India made history. The Border Roads Organization, BRO for short, built 100 kilometers of road in just 100 hours. That's right, no typo, 100 kilometers, 100 hours. The shortest commercial flight in the world takes just 90 seconds. It links two of Scotland's Orkney Islands, Westray and Papa Westray, just 1.7 miles apart. In 1620, Dutch inventor Cornelis Drebbel stunned the world with a leather-covered wooden submarine that carried 16 people underwater for 3 hours, at a depth of just 15 feet. Even King James I watched in awe. It was the world's first real taste of underwater travel. The Star of India isn't just a museum piece, it still sails. Launched in 1863 and docked in San Diego, it's the oldest active sailing ship on the planet. More than 160 years old, yet it still cuts through the waves now and then to keep its spirit alive. It's not just preserved, it's alive with history. The Rolls-Royce Phantom was too perfect. It was so quiet, early drivers actually felt disoriented. So engineers had to add soft, artificial sounds, just to make silence feel more natural. By 2024, 64% of all cars in Norway will be electric, the highest percentage per capita anywhere in the world. It's not just a trend, it's a statement. Norway isn't just talking about sustainability, they're driving it, literally. Canada has more lakes than the rest of the world combined. We're talking over 2 million of them. In fact, nearly 9% of the country is covered in fresh water. So if you're ever thirsty, just head north. Unlike most metals, gold doesn't rust, corrode, or tarnish. That's why when archaeologists dig up ancient tombs or shipwrecks, gold often looks like it was buried yesterday. It's not just valuable, it's practically eternal. Coming in 2025, Richmond, Virginia will be home to the world's first large-scale indoor vertical strawberry farm. Picture this, 30-foot towers growing over 4 million pounds of berries a year on less than 1 acre. It slashes water use by 90%, land use by 97%, and forget pesticides, there are none. This isn't farming, it's farming reimagined. Between 1956 and 1964, Soviet gymnast Larissa Ladynina dominated the Olympics, racking up 18 medals and setting a record that stood for nearly half a century. She wasn't just competing, she was redefining what was possible in women's sports. It took a legend like Michael Phelps to finally surpass her in 2012. Even now, Ladynina's legacy stands tall as one of the greatest in Olympic history. Think a pilot's helmet is just a fancy motorcycle helmet? Think again. The U.S. Air Force pours up to $300,000 into a single one. Why? Because it's packed with cutting-edge tech, like a heads-up display, night vision, and even 360-degree awareness. Custom-molded, feather-light, and built for combat, this helmet isn't just gear. It's a survival tool at Mach speed. Squirrels are nature's accidental gardeners. They bury nuts all over the place. But here's the twist. They forget where they put a lot of them. And according to ecologists, that forgetfulness leads to millions of trees growing every year. So, next time you walk through a forest, thank a squirrel. Turns out, kissing is way older than we thought. The earliest known kiss dates back 4,500 years to ancient Mesopotamia, about 1,000 years earlier than researchers believed. How do we know? Archaeologists found clues in ancient texts and artifacts that push the timeline of human affection further into the past. Apparently, love has been in the air for a very long time. When Alexander the Great died in 323 BCE, his body wasn't just buried. It was entombed in a golden sarcophagus, submerged in honey. Not for sweetness, but for science. Honey, even back then, was known for its powerful antibacterial properties. It sealed wounds, preserved food, and in this case, held off decay for centuries.